Okay, this video I'm going to continue talking about the narcissistic histrionic woman, Sherri, who is also a counselor, and she has her own practice, and her dear friend, they were friends when they were very young, Kevin, he hired her to do a talk show on the radio that he runs, radio station. He runs it. He so has his dad and so forth since it started. And after he did, he started to notice things about Sherri that really he had not had any kind of opportunity to notice before. There was no reason to notice this about, with her, the way she acts towards certain things, such as, this is a radio talk show talk show that Sherri has, and people call in, and when they call in, they seem like they're knowledgeable about a topic or something. She's rather easily influenced to some degree. Now, especially if they call themselves life coaches, she listens to them as though they really know what they're talking about, and she doesn't ask for their credentials or anything. Well, the radio station has this, the ABC elders that basically they kind of run it and fund it and this kind of thing. They don't appreciate that. They want to know, they want people to show their credentials for what they say, and they don't. Two of them were counselors before they retired, and a married couple, and they say, no, there needs to be more, they want facts. They want nothing just to be somebody's opinion or because of their experience or whatever. They want it to be facts, and for people to be educated in whatever field it is that they talk about. Now, the radio station isn't just about mental health. So, okay, but another thing that he has noticed over time is that now she'll listen to him to a certain degree, but if they don't show her respect and they don't respect her authority, which she has done her homework, literally, she's earned her LPC, and she's done what is needed to be what she is. Now, that's not an arrogance if somebody has earned, has gone through the program, has done it. That's not an arrogance. Okay, that is, she has confidence in what she knows, and she should, because she has been through it. Some people get that a little bit confused, that if somebody shows that they really know what they're talking about, and therefore they're arrogant. Now, a person can be arrogant and show what they know, but when you know what you know, when you did all that's needed, you're going to have some confidence in what you know. Chances are, perhaps. Now, but she will show some forms of arrogance in other things, but she also has a little bit of problem with anger. Now, just because this one example is like this, that doesn't mean they're all like that. Some people have that way of thinking, is all or none, all or nothing, never, always, this kind of dichotomous thinking. That's not good. Okay. In this situation, it's just the situation. Okay. You can't generalize and say, well, then therefore all. No. But anyway, so when somebody doesn't respect her authority, okay, she is an authority. This is true. She is an authority, a voice of authority on this topic. But when they don't respect it, then they should respect it. Now she gets angry. She explodes. That's not good. Okay, you see the difference. Now she should, her authorities should be respected. She's not one of those who has done the work, but is just out to make money and is putting up whatever people want to hear. No, she even bases on fact, but she can be influenced, too easily influenced. Okay, you get what I'm saying? And she doesn't ask for their credentials. Got it? Okay, now, the elders had noticed at some point, I'll tell the little story after this, but the elders had noticed, ABC elders, that Sherri wasn't putting up disclaimers. The radio station wasn't putting up disclaimers that anything that they talked about, they spoke of on these this talk show host. This talk show, that they should understand that it's not a one size fits all kind of thing, and that that their own personal situation could be dangerous, and it would be better if they got their own counselor for this kind of thing. They're giving just a general idea. Now, I see a problem with that with any kind of talk show host. If somebody's giving advice, because some people could take that advice, not realizing the danger of just taking general advice. Like somebody says, my husband's doing this, and to the wife, and the wife says it, and then they tell the wife, just leave him. Now, when you leave somebody, it can be dangerous. It can be dangerous at any time, of course. I'm not trying to dissuade anybody of anything. But having their own counselor who would know more about it, and so on and so forth, unless it's something like there has to be police, I'm not giving any advice. None of that. No counseling advice, any of that kind of thing. I'm not sure where I left off, but I wanted to get to this. Now, they had a situation that came about that really caused the elders, ABC elders, to say, okay, enough is enough. And Kevin was just ready to get rid of his longtime friend, get rid of her job because of what happened. And basically, the story goes that Renee, a woman named Renee, 48-year-old woman, well, she listens to Sherri's talk show during the daytime while her husband's away. Okay, her husband is at work. And Sherri had a life coach host one time that said that for what I just described, said that for people in abusive relationships should just leave. Okay. And they got into a little discussion about it because Sherri was saying, well, the problem is they don't. Okay, like I was saying earlier, this could be very dangerous. Well, as it turns out, that her words around, everything that was said gave Renee the nerve to finally leave her husband, her abusive husband. And that that she, pardon me, I'm reading my notes here, and that she would go to the to a shelter and stay there until her husband was served the papers, and then would go, and he would have to leave her house because she is Renee is a descendant, and only descendants in that county can buy property in that area. Okay. And her husband is not one. And so she was planning on leaving, her house to go to there, and the next morning, right after her husband left for work. So that's what she did. She planned on leaving. Well, a couple hours later after that, a woman named Chelsea, who runs the shelter, she went to see Renee in the hospital. Okay. Now that she was given security detail because she was a descendant, so the security wrapped around, there in the hospital where Renee was. Okay. And Chelsea, because Chelsea, who she is, she understood what was going on. She didn't, of course, know the medical situation totally because of HIPAA. And but she went to there, and afterwards, she went to see Renee and saw how bad it was. I'm just going to put it that way. And she took, whenever when Renee was ready to leave, Renee was a lucky one. In comparison to some that Chelsea had known of, that just didn't survive it, or were even worse than what happened to Renee. Renee was pretty bad, her situation. But anyway, she was, Chelsea knew that she was one of the lucky ones. Well, nobody's really lucky in this kind of thing. She was, okay. But anyway, after that, she went to she was released, she went to the shelter. Now, the ABC elders, you know, they knew that it wasn't Sherri's fault. They're not going to blame Sherri for the abuse of Renee's husband in the whole situation. But they do know that you have to be careful in what you say and think about, beyond just you showing off your knowledge, think about what could happen in that kind of situation. You know, nobody should be saying, in my view, nobody should be saying, well, you need to do this exactly. You know, if they don't know the situation. Anyway, like I said, I don't give advice. Anyway, they knew that it wasn't Sherri's fault. And they decided that all the counselors, because they had already told Sherri that they were going to get other counselors, and you know, sometimes there would be a debate and all this about, you know, because some people, like counselors, they may use this type of therapy or that type of therapy. You know, they come from different paradigms, let's call them. And so they have a little debate on which one is better for this and which one is better for that, you know, these kinds of things. But they decided after this, the ABC, that they would must pre-record, all of them, their you know, their segments, and there would not be any call-ins. Okay, there would not be any people calling in. It's not going to be that kind of a talk show anymore. The talk would be between the counselors or the sociologists, whomever, and not the general public. You know, then there was suspicion that that people were just doing that on purpose. There were some people that low life that they were calling in and acting like they were professionals when they weren't. So, and all the segments would have to be pre-approved before they go on air by the ABC elders. Before they air. Let's see. I wrote some more notes. Now, okay. And as I said, Kevin had wanted really to suspend Sherri when, you know, well, he got a call from the elders, ABC elders, about this, and they told him, you know, what was going on, and that it was Sherri's talk show with the life coach, and that the life coach said what the life coach had said, and it wound up with this woman in the hospital, hospitalized. Now, Kevin wanted to suspend Sherri, but the ABC elders told him that they wanted her to stay on so they could monitor her, but that, you know, it's going to be pre-recorded. They had other plans for Sherri. You know, with Sherri's knowledge, she did her homework. She knows what she's talking about. But they want to keep her. They want to try to get her out of private practice. Yet utilize her education in some way, monitored. But they, you know, we'll see how that goes. Okay, and they've actually considered having Sherri as one of the counselors at the working with Chelsea at the shelter, but okay, you know, like do group sessions and such, but still be monitored, and that Sherri was going to be one to have to organize it all. In a way, it's a punishment, but not. People who work with people who are in shelters, that's not a punishment, but the punishment part of would be that she has to do all the organizing on top of everything else, and you know, instead of what she just wants to be free and do however she wants at this time. So, and Sherri knew, you know, she has her husband who works at the radio station too, and she doesn't want him to lose his position, and she doesn't want to lose her business, so she knows, you know, what had happened, and that was pretty bad. So, this is the second time she's been warned about what she does. Okay. And let's see. And she would still do some of these segments, but they were going to be, like I said, pre-recorded. And they would also go up on what's called Virtual County website. Now, I just want to get all this information out, but what do you think when somebody, you know, leads to something? Should there be, you know, what it is? What do you think? Anyway, this is a hypothetical fictional story. The whole series is hypothetical fictional. It's just for entertainment only. Things could, and it could be wrong. Read the disclaimers in the description box below video on YouTube. And nothing's perfect, like I said. Opinions could be wrong on any of the videos. But anyway, there's more on this. I'm going to wrap this up. Talk to you on another video.